Hey, yo, Lester here, babe. You come at the king, you best not miss.
Them. Let me just say this. I just recently got into it with a lot of the wigtail females. And the reason why I got into it with them was, and they got so emotionally upset with me, was me saying to them, all white men are not the prize. I don't know where you think all white men
They don't
are
even,
this awesome catch for you,
they
when
don't,
in fact they are not.
they're not even dating them, most of them.
And you don't know how hostile these women
Of course,
got towards me for just saying that.
because
I
that is
was
the,
not disrespectful with them. I didn't say any disrespectful comments to them, and I
that's
got called every name in the book you could think of.
that's the only club they have against black men. That's the only club they have. So you take it from them, they don't have any.
But just over the topic of a hypothetical white male counterpart for them, set them completely off the
Of
deep end.
course, you're taking away their last hope. Of course,
But what I'm trying to tell them is, every
you
white man isn't a catch,
you
just like every black man is not a loser.
it's a shatter. You're shattering their belief system.
I had to actually take the video and put it on private because they got that upset.
Of
And I
course.
was like, this is some psychotic,
Uh,
crazy shit.
oh no, yeah. Now you're getting it.
You don't get upset. This isn't even, you don't even
Now
have a man, this white man,
you
this Disney prince
oh,
that you think you got. He's
it's
not even in your arms, and
it's
you're getting upset with me?
it's the same thing with generational welfare and generational Section 8. At what point do you cut them off?
I've never seen that kind of aggression over a statement, because I know, and I'm like,
Welcome to the world of black men. You have been treated like a black man. Now you felt it. And
when I
that's
was defending black
and
women for all the things that, I was defending them on, which
they were
is,
fine with it. Yeah.
yeah, but let me say that a white man isn't a catch. Like, I'm like, do you know how many white men molest their
Well,
children or rape their children?
welcome to
Do you know what?
IBMOR.
Huh?
Welcome to IBMOR. We hear that all the time. You can't talk logic to them. The only way that the gender war, the black gender wars as we know it, will stop. The only way that black women will get back in line, or get back to the point where they're actually reasonable, that you can actually talk to them, is for the environment to change. And that's what you hear black men cheering for. It sucks. It's ripping off the Band-Aid. It sucks. But now they'll listen.
Well, they're not listening to me, so I don't know where you think that I can tell them, when I just made
You
one
know,
comment, one simple comment. The white man is not the prize.
they won't
And
listen
if
to you.
you think the white man is going to protect you when shit hits the fan, you're mistaken. If they can't protect their daughters, and their daughters get raped, and they get molested and raped by family members and by strangers, and they're not protecting their daughters at 3 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 and 13 and 14 and 15 years old, what makes you think they're going to protect you?
That's a belief that they have, but you can't tell them anything differently. That's what we have to work with. And they don't believe it until they get a little letter in the mail, and they haven't even been pulled off of Section 8. They haven't even been
But
pulled.
a lot of these women that are
It was just a
highly
letter.
fired up about my comment don't even have children. They haven't even procreated yet.
Yeah, I know.
And my point to them is, don't think, yeah, there's some good white men out there. I'm not disputing that. There are some good white men out there. that are a catch, but all of them are not a catch. Just the same way all black men are not losers.
They're delusional. They're delusional to the point that they're not even contact. They don't even contact with reality. They think the way they've been rolling, they'll be rolling until the day they die. That's what they believe. Even though the facts point differently.
Mm-hmm. Well, they don't see the flip side of the disgusting white male. They've never witnessed that. Until
they do, and the ones that do are quiet about it because they're too ashamed to talk about it.
You know, and I had a video, and I was gonna discuss to these women with what I experienced. You know, I got raped at 3 years old by a white male teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was molested again at 11.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to point out things to them concerning the psyche and the mental state of what that does to a child. And that if you think that black men are bad and that you think black men do this and that, well, I want to point out some things, some horrific things that do happen, and not just to myself, but to other women. Mm-hmm. And that these men are also predators that you call all black men that really aren't predators. And I want to show you what a predator does. And I couldn't do it. Tanya TKO told me to put it out. She said, go ahead, put it out. You know, if you feel safe with putting the story out. But it was at the time when I was discussing that white men are not, you know, they're not prizes. And I kept it to private. I didn't even put it out there because I felt that they couldn't utilize the information, and I wasn't going to give them
because
they couldn't utilize.
Because you don't understand the feminine and females at their core. Because what's driving them is not logic; it's feeling, and it's a biological imperative. Yeah, they don't understand that. That's how come they don't understand why they feel what they feel. Because the information, when you give them the information, they don't take it. And number two, you know, number one, if you give them the information, they won't take it. And number two, their biological imperative and their feelings so overwhelm them that they can't see it, because it's a real simple answer. You know, and all my guys know what it is. If you understand the female nature at its core, then it's natural why they would think that, regardless.
I'm a woman, and I've never witnessed that kind of illogical behavior.
Because you are biracial, okay? You have a white father, so you see white men as in a different light. What they really want to be is you. Because
my father is Irish and Native American Indian, but my father isn't the one that molested me.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, biological, if you understand the female nature at its core, a female is designed to do what? She's designed to give her offspring the best advantage of survival in any environment.
Yeah, but a white man doesn't automatically assure that, is my point.
It's a white man does, individual white man does not, but his color does.
How? I don't see it.
His color, in her mind, who's at the top scale as far as the society is concerned, who's on top.
And you know what? Those tables can turn at the drop of a hat. So you can't go by that type of shit.
When they turn over time, her biological imperative will shift. Because her offspring need to be adapted to the environment that she's in. So if white people are on top, what she's going to seek is whiteness or white genes for her offspring, and she will embed that into the core of who she is. So that what they're acting on is not logic. It's feeling. It's biological imperative that they have, that they do not understand and they cannot access and control. Because if they knew what it was, then they wouldn't act that way. They would know what's happening.
And I also asked her, I said, do you have that type of the animosity? And even Chrysalin Carazon, you know, I asked her when she was on this kick of, you know, this whiteness and this blackness, and I was like, I thought you were beyond black and white. That's what you built your forum up on. I said, but you have this animosity towards white women. And my question is, do you all still have, do you have that kind of animosity towards your white male counterpart's mother, her sister, her auntie? I mean, his auntie. I mean, they're all white, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're hating what this woman produced, how could you possibly love, you know, her son? If you're hating this woman, this particular status quo female woman, white woman, how could you possibly ever love
Oh, we get deep
this
into we getting
this
deep
man?
into we're getting deep into the weeds with this one. It's called the myth of white womanhood. It's a myth of white womanhood. It's a very old, ancient, not old ancient term. It's a term that came out. Well, I guess in the early 20th century, or actually before that. The myth of protecting white womanhood, which is actually used to keep black men away from white women.
Okay, I don't understand it, but you can explain it to me.
So in other words, to foster the idea that white women needed to be protected from the brutes of the black men, they had to elevate white womanhood to a certain status, and black women were considered below that status. So basically, black women were the concubine and not the mistress or the wife.
Mm-hmm.
So they suckle the babies, they do all this to clean the house, suckle the babies. They followed orders of what black women called Miss Ann. And over time, since black people are in a matriarchy, they taught their daughters to basically, I have to take care of Miss Ann's kids. I have to clean Miss Ann's house. So eventually you're going to go get educated and you're going to become Miss Ann.
Mm-hmm.
So you become Miss Ann, you might be her equal as far as education. They might even earn the same amount of money. But what does Miss Ann have that you don't have?
Well, they can't say she's got this white man, because the white man was
Exactly.
all over the place.
Exactly. Who's as far as male status, and even black men who date white women, Donovan Sharp, you know, he says the same thing as far as male status in the West. Who's at the top of the heap? White males.
I don't see it.
You don't have to,
because of what I went through.
yeah, but
I don't
not
have anything bad against white men. I really don't. I don't hate white men. I you know, I don't have anything negative to say about certain. I do have certain white men, but
you are not a black woman.
I just have no, I can't. I just can't bring myself to be intimate
Well,
with a white man because of being what has happened and
Yeah,
transpired to me as childhood.
What I'm saying is, and when women that has transpired too, don't like, you know, I'm not saying all black women, but as a group, internally, they want to be Miss Ann. So the weaves, the contacts, and all the other stuff that go along into it, they're trying to shape her body so that what they want to feel on the inside, their outside reflects what they want to feel on the inside. They want to transform themselves into that creature that will give their offspring the best chance, and that is a white person, so they can give their children whiteness, because in their biology is not logical. Giving that child light skin and green eyes or blue eyes, it will give him a better advantage than a dark chocolate child in this environment.
My dad said something to me when I was younger that really resonates with me now. And he said mixed children suffer. That's what he said.
Because it's an identity crisis. But that doesn't have anything to do with the biological imperative, because it's not logic. So I'm explaining it to you from the root, and you will not believe it until you see it play itself out in the real world. Most people don't. Most people don't. A lot of guys that are my subs that heard me say this didn't believe it until they actually saw it play out on the physical plane. In other words, play it out in the real world, and they see these patterns, and they said, "Okay." And I show video after video after video, showing them how this plays out in the real world.
Well, they were very upset with me because I said, I don't see how you could possibly love this man whom you want to build a family with and have children with, knowing that you hate his mother, you hate his sister, you hate his auntie, and you are going to hate your daughter, who is going to be half white.
Do women compete against other women for a man's affection or men's affection?
Well, it depends on the woman, because I'm not that type.
I
So
know. I'm saying, what have you observed?
I have seen fighting. I have seen, actual fighting.
See, in this male space, okay, you're gonna have to come out of the woman, the out of your female brain for a second, because the female brain focus inward instead of outward. A male brain focus outward because our role is to project and project outward. A female's brain focuses inward because, one, she has to accept material into her own, and he has to procreate from that. So she is internally focused. Males are externally focused. So you're gonna have to come out of that for a second.
I can agree with that, because I internalize a lot of stuff, even if
That's normal. That's normal. Yeah. You're not unusual. That's normal for a woman. That's why I'm explaining it to you. So I'm trying to invoke you to come out of that for a second, so you can understand what I'm talking about, because you keep referring back to yourself. And I'm talking about a concept. The concept goes beyond human beings. It goes, it's the esoteric feminine, going all the way from the beginning of the universe, all the way down. There's an esoteric masculine, and there's